Welcome to Truth Custom Made. Come in and have some lemonade. Reality will readjust while we evade the issues that are pressing us and getting so depressing. But undressing and unstressing makes them go away. We're tired of solid ground. We're wired of the sound of any fool who keep us cool with all his lines. Cool with all his lines. Bye, 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 bye.
This is Lance. Thank you for coming to my site. Look at the videos on managing bipolar or bipolar management for healthcare workers and those that are diagnosed. Today we're going to talk about support groups and the importance of support groups. When you originally end up getting diagnosed, you start to go home and start to research information on it, and you come to find out that there really is nothing out there, particularly here in like Southern Nevada. So you go online or you go to the library and you start looking for books, and virtually most of it's like your nursing books or medical books. It's a lot of gibberish. It's a lot of this is what goes on with the brain and the neurotransmitters and the signs and the symptoms and so forth. But there's nothing to really teach you how to live with it. And that is the information that you want the most. And there's only two books that no one really tells you exist out there. And one of them is the Bipolar Disorder Survival Guide. And there's a new one that's been out for a number of years called Bipolar Disorder for Dummies. And if you really want to see a reduction of people coming into the hospital with issues related to the bipolar disorder, which often includes substance abuse and a lot of your suicide attempts, if we were to take everybody that got diagnosed and we were to hand them a copy of the book, which only costs about $20, we could significantly reduce the number of admissions in our hospitals, or at least, put a class out there. In fact, give them the $20 book on the way out the door, because you're already charging them for the session anyway, and present some classes on how to live and deal with this, so they can be ahead of the game and they're not living on the streets and they're not coming in. Because you can be highly functional, and someday I think I'm going to go through a list of all the folks that are out there that are famous celebrities and politicians, and Donald Trump is not one of them. Neither is Hillary. But you would be surprised at the number of people and who's on these lists that have come out with bipolar disorder, or who were known to have had bipolar disorder when they existed and lived on this planet. And some of them were world leaders and others successful. Okay, Sir Winston Churchill was one of them. And you'd be surprised at who all was on that list. With bipolar disorder, it's only figured that they're like 2.6% of the population in America has bipolar disorder. In Southern Nevada, there are 2.2 million people. So roughly that comes out to about, 57,200 people walking around in this part of Nevada with it. And in support group, there's only like 2 locations, and you're lucky to have like 5 or 6 people show up at each one. So that kind of tells you how bad it is. Initially, when you go to support group, and you can do this online as well, is you go into a room or your virtual room, and what is said there stays there, like the Las Vegas motto, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. what is said in the support group stays in the support group. It is usually a closed room, closed session. The people are there. Some have been, they're usually in a depression phase. Many of them are regular goers, and others have just recently got diagnosed, or their son or daughter got diagnosed, or their husband got diagnosed, and they're just trying to come to grips with it. The one that's diagnosed, if they're in a mania state, they don't feel like they need to be there. And you as the spouse are trying to just come to grips with it so you know how to deal with it, learn about it, where to get your resources from. Initially, you pick up some good information at the very beginning, and throughout the process, you start to share with others your experience, and you learn that you're not alone. You're building a support network so that you know where to go when you need it. You can help other people with information that you received, the things that help you out, and you'll find tidbits from the others. The first couple months is extremely helpful. After that, you may get back into a normal phase, or you may get back into a hypomanic phase or hypermanic, and then you don't show up for 5 or 6 years. But when you get into depression phase, it's like, okay, I really need to get back in there, get back in the game. So then you start attempting to go there, and you'll be surprised at some of the information that's recently new that came out. So you attend these things. You'll start to find out more information. The one online actually is good, talking about some of the behavioral changes as part of a therapy. Things like from mood charting, sleep, charting on your sleep habits, events that are coming up that can help you be more involved, whether it be politically or social outreach. I truly recommend it. Look out. That's all I'm going to say about support groups today. If you're a nursing student, or you're brand new to the bipolar, or you got a family member just got diagnosed, share this video. Have them go on YouTube, go to the Bipolar Management for Healthcare Workers and Diagnosed, or just put in Lance Baker, and you're going to be seeing a series of all these different videos coming up. I have one I just did that for your first time going to a psychiatrist visit, what it's like. This one on support groups, which is probably going to be my short one. I'm going to have another one soon on the neurotransmitters and how they affect the bipolar disorder. I'm going to have one coming out soon on sleep. That is it may be a 2-part series. And I'm going to be going over some various type techniques that can help out. I'm going to have one where I'm going to explain between the 1s and the 2s. So if you're a nursing student, it's very good info. You're going to get more out of it than you are studying that little chapter in your nurse textbook. And you're going to come up with real ways to help people. You're not going to find that in the nursing textbook. You're really not going to find it out in the medical textbooks. You have to listen to the people that have had to deal with it and struggle with it. And there's so much information you're going to get out. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break it down easy, the stuff that you really need to know. So you guys have a good week. Look out for more videos. Share my videos. Go on YouTube. Hit subscribe so you can see the videos as they come out. I'm going to be churning out maybe 1 or 2 a week, for the next few weeks. So I want you guys to have a great week, and peace out. Thanks for listening in.
Try to stop me.